morning to you once more, and today is Friday, the 12th of February 2016, sorry, what am I saying? And I am here with you at the Argyle airport site. Now today is not one of my regular days. Actually, I usually come here on Saturdays, but because of the fact that I have to go somewhere tomorrow, I will not be able to come. So I'm here this morning to bring you an update of the progress of the work that has been done here so far over the past week since my last visit on Saturday the 6th of February. Now last week Saturday when I was here, I am at the bank side on the flat of the Yami Hill, which is on top of the hill up there, as you can see. Last week when we were here, I spoke with you about what was going to take place here regarding the fencing. Now, you would have seen that we had some blocks, and in between the blocks we had some spaces. And I told you that where those spaces are is where they're going to plant a pole for the fence, box it up and concrete it into place, and then run the fence over on top the blocks instead of on the outer side of the blocks as they would have done in some other areas. And I explained to you the reason for this is because of the rockiness on the outside of the drain here. In this area, it would have been difficult for them to drill the holes that they need to plant the poles. Now this week we are back 6 days after, and you are seeing that the poles have been planted right down to the end down there. There are guys working doing the plastering, and you can recall that this side all we were seeing were the raw blocks, and now we can see where they have done the plastering work. So the work down here on the fencing and on the drainage system here on the southwestern side of the airport is going along quite steadily, and until I reach to another area where there is work going on, I'm going to leave you here for now. Now the guys are walking up towards this end with the plastering, because as you can see, you are still seeing the raw blocks here, unlike down at the bottom where they have started from with the plastering. And right there you can see them doing the work here as they walk their way up on this area of the fencing just below the bank side of the Yami Hill here on the southwestern side of the airport side. Now all this mountain you're seeing here in front of us, this will be taken down. Already they have the distance in where they want to go, but all we have in front of us is this portion of rock hanging out here, and there are hard rocks here that need blasting, so the drill from time to time will come and do some blasting. There was some blasting earlier up in the week, and now you can see the equipment that they're removing the rubbles from the blasting, and the trucks will be loaded, and these stones, the rubble that come down here, they are being separated in the sizes and put in a heap, as you can see there, and then they will be taken, some will be taken to the mill where they're crushing the stones, and other sizes will be taken other areas on the site. Last week when we were here, remember this is the area where we have the step down, where we have about that 6 feet, and I told you that the fencing will be going into this area. Now we have the siding for the concrete works in place, We have the holes here for the poles, and we can see over there where we have that section of the fence already planted. Now we have the guys are here currently doing some work here on putting down the wooden siding for the concrete works. And as you can see them over there, they're walking, they're putting down. So the fencing will be passing in this area. The holes have already been dug. So all they're doing now is putting up the siding, and then the poles will be placed into those holes, and they will have them plumbed and stayed, and then we'll have the concrete works. So by the time I return here next week, you will be seeing some poles up in this area and some fencing already mounted here. So this is the progress of the work here so far in this area of the southern side of the runway, where we have the step down here. Remember last week we were here, and this is what we have taken place here this morning. Now we have this stake here, and where I'm at, I am still in the area on the bottom side where they are doing the fencing work on the side over there. Now I am showing you where we have all the stakes. All those stakes line up, coming straight across there, and it is my belief that this is the width of the road that we're going to have here. They're putting up the fencing, and all this area here, it looks as though this is where the road is going to pass here on the fencing. But we will have to wait and see. But based on what we're seeing, one could come to that conclusion that where we have all those stakes is where the road's going to pass. Now the holes, like I've told you, all of the holes have been dug here, going all the way back out to the fencing there on the eastern side. So the fencing, between the fencing on the western side that they would have already done, and the fencing here on the eastern side, between those two portions of fencing, we have all the holes have already been dug, as you can see as I move towards the fencing on the east. And very soon we're going to have all the fencing, the fencing erect on the southern side of the airport side. And on my right, sorry, where we had that first portion of fencing, I'm going to go across there to show you exactly what has happened. Here is the area where they had put down the first set of fencing, which they had to move and put closer inland so that they could have enough space in here to put the road. Now we see that the poles have been moved, and these poles will be used in other areas, so they have been taken out, and now we have here all the different concrete rubbles from that first set of fencing work, and we see the fencing has gone closer in. Now I am going over to the side on the eastern side where they were putting up the poles last week to show you exactly what has transpired there over the past 6 days since I last visited this site. Yes, I am back here on the side, on the eastern side of the fencing, where we saw last week they were putting up the siding to put these poles into position. Some of them have already been plumbed. Last week had already been plumbed, and there were some still to go up. Now this linkage of the pole from behind me where they have started the fence, or where they have ended with the fence, the linkage of the poles, all of them are already in now, only waiting to have the mesh wire in position. Now this is one of the rocky area. You remember last week over there on the western side, I told you about the rockiness of the area where it was difficult for them to drill a hole. That's the reason why they run the fencing on the blocks itself that makes the drain. Now this is the reason why they had to do it, because on this side, which is just below the foothill, we also have a rocky problem here, and as you can see how difficult it would have been for them to do that. In areas where it is not so rocky, all they have to do, like we have seen over there on the southern end where they're putting up the siding, all they have to do is to drill the holes, and that is much easier. But in this rocky area, it takes more time, more concrete to get this kind of work done, as you are looking at right now. Now, the fencing, the poles are up, and like I have told you, next week in times to come, we are going to see a lot of these mesh wires up. So like where I'm at here right now on the outside of the fencing, if I want to get back on the inside, I may have to go all the way up there to the stone mill area and get on back on the inside. But this is just to give you an idea as to the progress of the work done here since my last visit on Saturday, the 6th of February 2016. I am back here with you today, and today is Friday, the 12th day of February. I am now here with you where the fencing would have joined to the other one that we had already installed sometime last year. Now, as I move back over towards the far end, you would see all that is left to be done here, as you can see, is the putting in of the mesh, so that the animals, when that is done, the animals that come across it to go on the field like this dog is trying to do, will have a hard time getting across. Even I myself will have a hard time getting across from this side of the fencing where I'm at over onto the side of the airfield itself when these meshing are put in place. So this is giving you so far progress of the work being done here, and where they're doing the laying down of the siding over there on the southern end, linking up that end, far end over there on the west to this far end over here on the east. Next week, by the time we come back next week Saturday, we will see a lot of these poles back down there on the south, only waiting for the mesh wire to go in. From where those equipment are removing the rubble from the blasting, there on the McConaughey Hill, and as I come with you right across, I'm going to give you an idea as to how much of this bankside is left to come down. Right where you have those set of stones there, if you look straight across towards the bank, this is the width of the bankside we have left. Now the height is not much that height. It is far less than that of the petroglyph hill that we have to come down. But these areas here, we have some tough rocks, some big boulders, as you can see some of them there on the ground in this area. So we have to do some blasting here to get this up. This is just to give you an idea as to how much work that is left to be done here in this area of the McConaughey Hill. And all these rocks have to come down, this hillside here that we're still looking at, have to come down to make the space for the installation of the fencing, because the fencing will be going in that area where we have that rock still to come down. So we have to get all of that done so that the fencing can make its way up. Already we see they have them started down on the southern end, and on the northern end we have them up to a certain point over there on the northwestern end of the site. Well, if you should ask me, in my estimation, how much of the fencing work that has been done so far, I will say about 75% of it has been done, and they are going up quite steadily and quickly. You will be amazed to see you come here 1 week and you see the preparation work, and the next week you come back, you see fencing in position. So this is just to tell you how fast they're working, and they not only do it in the day, they also do work on it at nights as well. So if you take a good look with me, you can see as far as your eyes can see all the way up there. We have these drums. They are covering where we have the fixture for the lights on the side of the runway. Remember last week I came, I showed you some of the yellow fixtures fitted onto the shoulder area of the runway. Now we have work has been continuing on them, and now we have them covered, and the wiring for these lights on the side of the runway are coming all the way from that box over there, coming through along. The conduit has already been placed long ago before the asphalt work has been done, as I show you in some of my videos. And now you see the wiring for this lighting is coming all the way to this, and they have already run the wires already. You know, all needs to be fitted up is the lighting system, the bulb or whatever it is they use, and to turn the lights on. So everything is already, all the wires are already run through these boxes, through these cables, these conduit. So it's just the finishing touches that they are doing right now to complete this whole. Last week I told you about the underground drain. This one is below on the flat, below where we have the control tower. And if you've been following my photographs over the period for the last year, 2 years or so, you would have seen me take shot of this area when they were building it. Now this drain is going all the way out there. As you can see, it's traveling all the way out there, then making its way out towards the north side where we have the 191 channel, and it is taking the water from all the way that is coming off from the bank side, also the water off the land side area. And if you're wondering why they have these spaces between here, the drain, this is to accommodate the flow of the water off the land, so that when it rains, the water will flow through here into this drain off the land, rather than settling up in any area. So this is what we have here. Now we also have some thick concrete slabs, and also in those slabs we have spaces between them through which the water will also run. Now you see a lot of dirt has filled them up now, so this is what we have here. And this drain is heading all the way back out there. Now, work is going on with where they're laying down the conduit, those PVC conduit in the earth, and I am going across there to show you what they would have done over the past week. Last week when we came into this area here, we had some PVC conduit running across and branch off in two directions. I also show you where we had the two manholes, and they were open. Now they are being covered, so it means that they would have connected those PVC pipe and all the different connections. I am not sure yet if the wires, the connecting cables have been run through them as yet, but now you can see this area has been covered with liquid concrete, and just now it will be filled back up with dirt and covered over. And also over here where we had the PVC branching off towards the runway area, we see that the dirt has been put back in place and we are not seeing them anymore. So it means that they would have done whatever work they were supposed to do here. Now you see here another junction box where we're going to have the wires connecting, that will be going all the way out to the airfield. All here we supposed to have some more concrete works, because once you see the steel extending is an indication that there is going to be some concrete work. Now probably it might come out and butt to this section of the wall. What we're looking at here, where I'm standing right here, is where the drain has come to so far and has ended for the time being. But this drain, this underground drain, like I have told you, will have to continue all the way up behind the electrical substation and connect back to the drain that they have already started up there in the end. Now we are seeing the works going on. We will have to have some concrete works also done here, and as you can see, but before that is done, all of this work with the conduit, running of the conduit, the PVC conduit, will have to be done first. And no doubt there's going to be some sort of manhole here. Now what I'm looking at from this point, as I look across this area, I am seeing like they have done some earthworks in that area close to where we have where you see that truck is coming down there, right on the right of the truck, where that gentleman is doing some work up there. We noticed that they would have done some cutting away of the dirt, and there is like a mountain, a mount like in the center there. So I am not quite sure how things are going to happen there, but down below, down here where you're looking at, where we have these concrete slabs, from looking at this now, I can see now that in this area, when the cargo aircraft comes in and it taxi along the Bravo taxiway, it will come a little bit lower down on this Alpha taxiway and come into this area where we have the concrete works and go over to the cargo terminal building that we have over here. That is for the cargo aircraft, and no doubt that the other aircraft, the domestic aircrafts, will use the Bravo taxiway and get onto the Apron. And further up we have the commercial taxiway, which is called the Charlie taxiway, that will be used by the commercial aircraft. I am now going up on top the hill on my right, to see what work they would have done regarding the laying of the pipes for the fuel coming all the way from the stubs towards the fuel farm. Here on top of the hill, overlooking the cargo apron building and the works, the concrete works of that retaining wall that they're doing there. They would have just poured some concrete in the box area that they have already done, and you can see one of the concrete trucks still parked there. But further up we have the concrete pump just left that area and heading back to base. And now we have the guys them down there. They are now dealing with this new area of the steel, getting it in readiness for some box work later on down in the next week coming, as they continue with this retaining wall coming all the way from out there in the northern end and coming right across down here. Up to what point I cannot say just yet, but so far you see where they have gotten to, and we are going to monitor this aspect of the work, and as the work progresses we are going to see exactly what takes place here with this retaining wall. Meanwhile, you see last week we were seeing the PVC pipe connecting to those two boxes down there. Now they have filled the area with concrete, and now getting ready to do the other section of the work. Now you will notice some water on the ground there, and this is happening because there is still more work to be done here in this area where I'm standing, this wall, this bank side, and no doubt it will be coming down to look something similar to the bank edge far over there on the eastern side, where I could walk from the flat and go up there and get to this point. But because of the work taking place there, I guess they would have left this for later on. So when it rains, the water from off the bank side just above me, behind me, flows down into this area plus the other water. So that is why you constantly have this pool of muddy water here. But as soon as they finish what they're doing in other areas and they start the aspect of this work, we will see a significant difference here regarding the water flowing off the bankside here when it rains, because the water that is coming down from the drain, also from the main road, also come down in that drain, and some of it flow down in this area. But there is some works to be done here to make this area look much better than how it is. All where we see the water is on the flat, then no doubt it will be concreted, and just now everything will look just the way it's supposed to look. But the work continues here at the site as I bring to you the coverage week after week, so you can get a weekly understanding of the progress of the work here at the Argyle airport site. There has not been any progress work here regarding the laying of these pipes. Last week we were here and we noticed they were just here. They have gotten to a point down there and now they have stopped. But the trench will have to be dug here and take the right up to the bank side behind me, where we have the tanks to fit up to the tanks. But they're still doing work on the tanks, and maybe they're waiting until that work is fully completed and in readiness, so that when they start, everything will go right up to the tank and fit it on one time. But I don't know that for sure. I am just assuming that is what is going to take place. But as we continue to follow the progress of the work out here, we are going to see next week when I visit here exactly what transpires here regarding the laying of these pipes for the fuel that will be coming all the way from the Stubbs Bay end, and just on top of the bank side there we have the tank, and no doubt that these pipes will be going up on that bank slope there and connect to that big tank and the other tank, the smaller tank in the back of it there. In last week's video I told you about an underground drain coming from the road and heading down to the airport site. That was when the road was built, before they start any work here on the building of the airport. The water that comes off from this gully area, there is a drain right below us that is taking the water under the roadway here and down onto the side. Well, they would have done some connecting work to this drain, and that is the drain that we have. When I told the drain is coming down from the road, that is the drain that is taking the water from the road area here and along the backside or the land side of the cargo terminal building, all the way down on the side, and then over to the north where we have the 191. So just to give you an idea what I was talking about last week regarding the gully here at the roadside, where the water from the road runs underground down onto the site. Now the water that comes off the road area, where you see that vehicle has just passed there, it is turning towards the pole that we have there on the side and flowing down back into this grass area on my left, where we have the beginning of the drain. So that is why we have those culverts there underground to take the water off the road. Now you are seeing the completion of the siding of this drainage, where the slipper drain where the guys were working last week, connecting back up this drain. Now before the airport site started, some of the water off of this area was just running off down onto that site and going all the way down onto where the airport is. But because of the building of the airport, that water has to be controlled, and now you're seeing the side wall there to control the water. I'm just giving you a view to see where the water used to run down when it came off the road before commencement of the airport, there is where the water used to run off from the main road, where you see they put in this side in here. The water used to actually run off down into this area and into a drain where we have a drain was running down long before the work started here at the airport side. For those of you who know what it looked like before, you will understand what I'm speaking about. Now the work on the fuel farm is ongoing. We have the guys plaster in this area, and I want to believe that this structure here that they're working on is actually what we call the substation, or we could say that is where we're going to have the standby generator in the event that the current goes. Now we see the fencing work is up. Most of the area is fenced, and to enclose this compound here where we have the fuel farm. Now I'm here at the bottom, close to where they just did this concrete works. Like I've shown you from over the hill, they just poured some concrete. Now the guys are going to work in a different area fitting up the steel. They just had their mid-morning break, so they are now going back to work from their break. Now last week when I was here, I tend to show you some holes where some PVC pipe in the concrete, and I explained to you why those were there. Now this is what I was telling you about. You see that piece of wood there with the steel, right through those two pieces of plywood at the side end, we have the PVC pipe through there, and it's true that those steel run and clamp that area together so that they could hold the boxing in place. Now all of this wall has been done, going all the way back up to the top up there. As you can see, as far as our eyes can see, or my camera can pick up, the wall has gone all the way back, and I'm heading in that direction to get a look of some of the work that has been done there over the past week. I am down at the flat below. The roadside is above, so I'm down at the flat here, and we had some rain yesterday, so out here is kind of damp. Some area we have water settling up, and some area where the trucks have passed, we have kind of mucky. But it is good now that the place was wet, so that the dust wouldn't be blowing as strongly as it used to blow, or it's accustomed blowing when the place is dry. But how long this is going to remain dry for, I don't know, because the area dries out very quickly. But you are seeing the wall here as I speak with you, and you can see some of the spaces where the conduit is embedded into the wall through which those steels pass. I am back here with you in the area where we have the car park, where they are putting in some drainage. You know, last week, I don't recall if we had a drain right up to that point where the workmen are, but now this week we come back, we see they are putting in the boxing where they're going to put in some slip drain and taking this work all the way around here, as you can see. A lot of work has been done over the past 6 days since I last visited. Right where I'm standing here, and I look at it from on top of the hill, all we had was the boxing going right around, making like a horseshoe from on top the hill. But now they would have done the concrete works here, and you see down there where those guys are working, they're now fitting in the boxing there, so that next week when we come back here, we're gonna see some concrete works. This is a walkway here. this little island here, I believe, I don't know as yet if they're going to put flowers here, but this is what we are seeing. And no doubt this little area here is going to be a roadway where we're going to have the emergency roadway for vehicles, service vehicles like the ambulance and so forth, walking here at the airport site. So now you are seeing the finishing touches of the work in front here, and this is the international area. The international area of the airport side. Our international arrival area, we have stone works and concrete works. The concrete works is being done in front of where we have the gates, and on the side we have the stoneworks, and it is looking so lovely from where we're at, so you could understand. And this work is going to be done all the way in front from where we are at here, going all the way back up, and also where we have the domestic area, we're going to have the stoneworks. And the guys, as you can see, they are just currently did some concrete works here to join the stone and the concrete works together, and they are doing the finishing touches now here just in front of the area where we have the international arrival on the air side of the terminal building. Well, I'm here with you where we have that extension of the drainage system here on the eastern side of the apron, going all the way out towards the 191. No work is going on here currently. Maybe the guys, it's almost 12 o'clock, so you know around this time what happens. But last week when we were here, we saw that they were putting up the steel and tying the steel together, fitting them up in place. Now over the past 6 days since our last visit, they would have put up the boxing and done some concrete works, actually linking these two areas together now. And now we have the water that is running through this drain is actually running all the way into the 191 now. But they have to bring it up to the height of this one here, and we have some boxing already in place, and all that is needed to be done is for everything to fit together, and then we have the concrete being poured here in this section. But currently nothing is happening, and I do not know the reason why. Maybe the guys had for lunch, but they were here working earlier. So this is just to give you an idea of the progress of the work here in this area where we have the linking of the drain that is running parallel to the eastern side of the apron, heading all the way over there towards the 191 channel. Now we have concrete works taking place on the continuation of the extension of the apron, and currently we have a truck up there just came with concrete. The guys are doing the concrete work. They would have done a portion this morning earlier, and they're doing the finishing touches on that portion. Now they're doing an extra piece, but I will take you a bit closer so that you can see exactly what is happening up. Last week when we were here, you saw they did a few of them with some space in between, and I told you when I come back here next week you're gonna see those space fill up. Now you can see the difference in the areas. Some are looking new and some are looking old, where they would have done the concrete works here in this area where they are filling up, where they are doing the extension of the commercial apron section heading towards the 191 wall over there. You see where they would have done a lot of concrete works between Monday and up to this point, because they didn't do any work on Sunday. But so now you're seeing the vast amount of work that has been done here in this area of the concrete work. Now we still have a small portion to go, so after they are finished with the stretch going down there, they are going to move. Already you see some of the sidings for the concrete are in place here, and very soon they're going to take them across, fit up this area, and we are going to have the road down here. So all this area here we have, and you see the steel extending out on the side here, which means that the concrete works will be going all the way back. Now this truck has just finished offloading its load of concrete, and whatever waste is left is going to wash out. So it's going to wash itself out, or the driver is going to wash out the remaining of the mixture into the back drain behind there to form as a reinforcement for the wall. So here on the although it is almost 12 o'clock, the guys have to continue working until this concrete work is finished. This is not the kind of work that you can leave for 1 hour until after you having lunch and then come back and do. You have to do it until it is finished before you can have that lunch break. But they are continuing to work on this area, and all of them are not working at the same time. They have different functions to perform in the casting of this concrete. You have some who are masons who have to level off, and some who have to come and spray and do the floating and all of that sort of work. But everyone has their function. So while some are working, you will find some relaxing, but it does not mean that they are not working. That kind of work that they have to do is not quite yet ready, so they are taking a rest until their turn comes to do their portion of the work. In this area you're seeing, no doubt we'll have to have another drainage system here, and this one will be taking all the runoff water from off the main road and from off the car park area, all the water from in the front, and bringing it down here and taking it, connecting it to where we have the extension of the 191 there coming up. And all what you're looking at there on the side is where we have that constant flowing of the stream, bringing the water down now. That water is currently running through the concrete works, the blocks work that we would have done here, making the extension of the 191. As I go closer with you to show you exactly what is happening. And here we have the water flowing through this tunnel and taking it down. Currently it is going over towards the Argyle River, but when the work is completed, this water will be channeled away from the Argyle River, more towards the south into the sea area at Argyle. But this is where it's flowing for the time being until the work is fully completed. Already we are seeing the earthworks taking place in this area. I am standing on top of the concrete of the 191, looking back here on the northern side, just between this area between the 191 and the Petrocliff Hill, and you can see that some earthworks have taken place here over the past week. Last week when we were here, we saw they were just putting up the steel to start the preparation work for this concrete works. Now 6 days after we are back, you can see here now where they would have done the covering of this area, linking the underground culvert over there towards the 191 catchment area. So what is going to happen now, and what has started to happen, is that they started filling up this area. Now last week I couldn't come where I'm at right now because this is where the linkage, and this was a big space. But here I am standing on this wall right now, and as I show you what is taking place, the area is now being filled up, and all here will be covered over with dirt, so you won't be able to see this concrete works. And we have all this area up here will be filled up with dirt, and they have started to fill it up and compact it, as you can see, because last week when we were here, this was not like this, what you're looking at. Now you see they would have packed different sizes of stone here and fill up this area with the dirt. So all the water that is coming off of the roadway and from the apron and all that will be flowing through this section here and heading all the way down to the sea area, flowing through the 191 tunnel. Well, here am I giving you a view of the work that is taking place on the side there of the Petrocliff Hill, where we have that caterpillar road up there. Nothing is actually happening now, but you could see that it has been doing some work up there, and the rock is, they're still taking down the rock. No work is going on here right now. I am not sure if they're going to do any blasting here today. I will have to try and find out, because it is actually around lunchtime, and normally if they're having any blasting, they're going to do that between 1 and 2 o'clock, and I would not be allowed to be in this area. So I'm heading up north, and I will try to find out if we're having any blasting today, and maybe if that is so, I can get a little peep as to what will take place here in the Petrocliff area, if in fact they are doing any blasting on this side of the airport side. Last week in this area, you see that they were filling up with dirt. Now today we are seeing no work is happening here, but on the side there I've always wondered, and I always wondered how they're going to do this area. But now we can see they have packed stone there, some big massive boulders. This is what they were holding back some of those boulders for. They are now being packed there, not only on this side, but also on the other side. As you can see here on the other side. Now, if you can recall, earlier up in the picture, we had a sloping area here where the vehicles used to pass, come down, and come across the river. Now, this area has been transformed to look like this. Now, I am standing on the 220 tunnel. As I look down here below me, I guess you can hear the flowing of the water just below. This is the edge of the wall, so I am at the edge of the wall. And what I want to believe, when I stand here and look across to the fencing, this fencing is going to come all the way over on this section of the wall and going straight across to link up with the one that we have over there already in position. So now everything is falling in. It's just like a jigsaw puzzle, and as the work advances closer to the end, the various pieces are fitted into that position where they are supposed to fit. And now you have here on the side where we have all the boulders, and they're going to pack up more dirt here and stone and build it up so that they can have a built-up area, so that they can bring the fencing across, because they have to have that level of land here to bring that fencing over on the end over there across. I've always been wondering and trying to figure out how are they going to manage with this area, how are they going to do it. But now, as the work commences here, as the work progresses, I am seeing for myself how this work is unfolding here at the Argyle airport site. Now I have learned that they're going to do some blasting at 1 o'clock. So I'm going to position myself. I'm watching the time. It is after 12, and not too long from now we're going to see some of that petroglyph hill coming down. But just want to show you exactly what is taking place here on the eastern side, and I guess the reason why they concentrate on getting this side done is so that they could continue with the fencing work in this area. So you are seeing it for yourself, and you don't have to wait until anybody else tell you. And once I tell you this is so, it is so, because I'm not going to give you any wrong information. And you can see for yourself through this video exactly what is taking place, so you can say with some sort of authority, I have seen these things and I know this is what is happening at the airport site. Currently it is lunchtime and the people are on a break, and later on I'm going to bring to you some other works in some other areas as I get to that area. We have just had the blasting of a section of the petroglyph hill, and the hill is coming down quite nicely, though we have a good bit in to go, because just in that green patch area where we have the green patch, and if you're seeing where that blue truck is now passing there, where the front of the blue truck now is, it's about to that distance in that they will have to take down all where you have that brown patch of dirt before you see the green patch there. All that hill will be coming down of the petroglyph hill. Work has started on the other side in excavation and the taking down of the other side, so very soon we're going to see all this area come down, because it has to come down in order to have the area of the fencing taking place. Last week when we were here, they were just digging the trench for this drainage system, and I told you they're going to have a drainage here. Well, now we have come back. We have seen a lot of work done over the past 6 days since I visited. I visited on Saturday and today's Friday. We've seen the matting gone in, the concrete works, and now the blocks are up, and what they're putting on now is the top piece for the boxing work for the concrete crowning in this area of the drain. And no doubt we are going to have our fencing pole plant on the outside of this area of fencing. Now I'm going to head further up to see how much work has been done up in that area there over the past week. But the guys are now coming back from their lunch break, so soon they will be setting in to start the continuation of the work they were doing earlier on. Now you're seeing the length of work they have done here. This is on the northwestern area of the site where last week we were, and I show you where they were digging a trench. Now if you can see right now, we have water settling up here, and this is just to give you an idea the direction to where the water is flowing. The water will be flowing towards the north side. There is a gully somewhere up at the end up there, so the water will be flowing. But because of the fact that the trench has not been dug all the way out as yet, the water settle up here. But as soon as that opening is being made to link up over to the other side, we will have all of this water draining out on the other side. So we have the works going on. A lot of block works already started down there, and the guys are coming down. So by the time I come back here next week, we'll see all of here with the blocks work. And then after that work is completed, we'll have the fencing going up on the outside of the blocks work. In this area, the dirt is very soft, so the work of the fencing would not be that hard. But as you can see right now, quite a lot of work has been done here over the past week since my last visit, and now you are seeing for yourself exactly what is happening. Now here is the point to which the trench has gotten to and where the water settled. But if you notice carefully, we see that the plowing of the soil in this area, which indicates that they're going to continue with this drain further down. But for the time being, they are doing some of the drainage works on the lower area where they would have done that trench. Now we are seeing here exactly where the caterpillar would have plowed this area, and the drain will be going all the way out towards the end. And when I get out there, you're going to see a little bit more of the work that has been done out there in the far north where they would have dug some trench. But the drainage system coming from where it has started out there will be passing all the way out there and depositing that water into a trench out on the northern side, just in that area where the road is going to pass. So they have to do this drainage system first, get the drain underground before any work can be done on the road. But this is the work that you're seeing here so far at the northwestern side of the Argyle International Airport. Still going northward, and if you have noticed here on the ground, there has been some plowing work done, of some grading off of this earth area here, because it was not like this last week when I visited, and I guess you can see the difference in the work. The caterpillar no doubt would have done some plowing. Taking this here a little bit lower down, we have a lot of stones here, and I guess you would have noticed last week a lot of stakes here in position. So I guess this would have been the reason why we have all those stakes, to indicate where they are going to do some work here over the week gone there. Well, today's Friday, within the same week here, this week come up here, they would have done some work. They still have a lot of stakes in the area, and as we go further north, you're going to see more of the development that has taken place over here, because from where I'm at, I can see a trench has been dug. So I'm going to take you closer there so you can have a better look to see exactly what has happened here on the northwestern side of the airport site. Now we are here almost to the end of the tunnel. Now last week when we were here, I tell you that they're going to put the trench, and the drainage system is going to come all the way out and connect to the one that we had already dug out here. Now I am back here this week to the Friday. You are seeing for yourself the development of the work that has taken place here last week. You remember last week vehicles could have come from off the main road there and drive across on the site, but this cannot happen now because there is a trench here right here to prevent that from happening. Now the drainage system is going to go out to the gully there, and then after this has been done, we're going to have this area fill up, and we are going to have the roadway, because the road is going to pass right in that area. It has to pass over the drain system, so therefore the drainage has to go in first before the roadway is being done. And this roadway has to be done as soon as possible in order to allow the vehicular traffic going to Roadway and to the IADC office to have access to the site while they are going to do the works on the rest of the runway down between the 191 and the 220. Remember some time ago we had a set of massive boulders here lying on the ground. Now this is what we have happening. Some of them are now in pieces, so they have been blasted and blown to pieces now. So this is what you have here on the side and here. So very soon that these massive rocks that you once had here will be moved away. And this is the reason why they have been there. Now where I'm standing here and looking at the front of the 220 and back over at the area where they're building the drain. I am practically standing in line from on top of the Petroglyph Hill, standing in line with where it looks as though the fencing is going to pass over there where they're building the drain. Now all this area of mountain, if that is the case, all of this section of the hill has to come. What you're looking at here right now, they are taking it down bit by bit. And if you notice just inside here where we have the dirt area, I told you there where that brown patch is going to have to come down. All this area is going to have to come down. Now on top of here is kind of soft, so they may grade up here first until they get to the hard rocks, and then they start drilling into the rocks and take down the hard rocks that are left to be seen. They just had a blast in here a while ago, about 1 o'clock, little after 1, which I was able to capture, and now they are removing the stones, the trucks and the other equipment. They are busy removing the stone from the blasting here at the Petroglyph Hill, here at the airport side. And as I look on top of the hill, I told you a while ago that those boulders that were at the bottom down there, some of them were blasted.